My toxic boss bullied me at work despite my wins. Here's what happened to her life and career. This happened about 5 years ago when I worked at a prop trading firm. For those who don't know, prop trading companies are notorious for insane turnover. They hire tons of people, throw them into the deep end, and only keep the ones who survive. This was a big multinational company that opened a new office in my city a couple of years before I joined. The office had space for about 120 traders but was never fully staffed. Every 3 months, they'd hire around 20 newbies, but only about 5 would survive the 3-month internship. Of those, maybe 1 or none would make it through the 3-month probation period to become a permanent trader. When I started, fresh out of college with about 25 others, there were only 4 permanent traders in the office, with maybe 10 others either interning or on probation. The pay was solid, double the starting salary of most finance jobs, plus bonuses once you moved to live trading. I was thrilled to land the gig. I met my boss, a super chill guy from India, at a university career fair where they ran IQ tests. He seemed like someone I could learn from. The office had a flat structure, traders at the bottom, an HR/operations manager above us, and the office manager, my boss, at the top. My boss was awesome, he'd let you leave early if you hit your daily goals. But the HR manager? Total nightmare. Let's call her Gabby. She was the definition of a toxic micromanager. I'm not exaggerating when I say she was the worst. I first met Gabby during my final interview at the office. I was checking in at reception when she stormed out, demanding documents from the receptionist, who was helping me. Gabby snapped at her to drop everything and fetch the files. Our first interaction went like this. Gabby, you one of the newbies? Me, yeah, I'm super excited to. Gabby, don't get too excited. I don't think you'll make it. Me, why's that? Gabby, you're too soft. But I could put in a good word for you if you give me something. Winking, implying a bribe. Me, ha, funny. Gabby, I'm serious. Pay up, or I'll make sure you don't even get to the interview. Me, no way. Gabby, dumb idiot. Right to my face. True to her word, she stuck me in a corner of the waiting area where I was barely visible. But I could hear everything at reception. The only reason I got the interview was because my boss remembered me from the career fair. He came out, noticed my resume was missing, and Gabby lied, saying I never submitted it. The receptionist mentioned seeing it, and I stepped up just as she found it in the trash. Everyone stared at Gabby. From that humiliating moment, she hated me. Gabby was a control freak. She made us request access to any website not on her approved list, which was useless for traders who need real-time data from everywhere. She'd schedule pointless meetings at the worst times, but only when the boss was out. She even stole my lunch once, and when I called her out, she basically told me to screw off. I dealt with it by bringing 2 lunches and focusing on trading, which I loved. Gabby was married with 2 kids and was decently attractive. She loved the attention, guys would pick her up for 2-hour lunches or after work, except on Thursdays when her husband and kids came to get her, probably for family dinners. 2 months after I started, my boss left for India, something about getting married. With no one experienced enough to replace him, you needed 5 years for a leadership role. Gabby became the de facto office head, despite knowing next to nothing about futures markets. Her first move? She delayed my promotion from intern to probation, even though I was a top performer, easily in the top 5 of our 26-person group. She promoted 20 others she liked, kept me and 1 other guy as interns, and fired 4 people. Then a new batch of 20 interns came in. I knew it was her revenge for the resume incident. My old boss's last act before leaving was to move me from a simulator to a live trading account because I was that good. I kept learning, asking for advice from senior traders, and stayed humble. 3 months later, at the next review, I was shocked they didn't promote me again, even though I was outperforming everyone, including the new interns who got bumped to probation. I was the only one trading live, bringing in real money, yet still an intern. I couldn't let it slide. I went to Gabby directly, backed by the senior traders. I stayed professional, not throwing her under the bus. After a month, she caved and moved me to probation, but only because she wasn't fully secure in her power yet. 2 months later, another review, another batch of hires, and yep, no promotion. My original group was now permanent. The group I was with on probation all moved up, and the new interns were already on probation. I was still stuck, despite trading live and matching permanent traders' results. Gabby's grudge was unreal. 3 more months, another review, and still no promotion. My probation group became permanent, none of them trading live. The interns behind me caught up, and a new batch was hired. I was done. I went to the 4 permanent traders I was tight with, and we planned to push back. This time, Gabby flat out refused, saying, "I'm in charge, so I do what I want." I wasn't having it. I contacted my old boss, now head of operations for Africa. He was stunned I was still on probation with my numbers. A top-down order came to promote me. When Gabby handed me the promotion letter, her face looked like she'd swallowed a cactus. I thought that was the end. I was so wrong. At the next hiring round, Gabby brought in a new intern, let's call her Sue. Sue was smart but lacked the emotional resilience, EQ, needed for trading stress. In trading, you need both IQ, which she had, and EQ, which she didn't. No big deal, EQ can be developed. By now, the office had about 70 people, over 30 permanent, including me, 20 on probation, and the rest interns. Only 11 of us traded live, covering salaries, rent, insurance, and more. The branch wasn't profitable, and I later learned from my old boss they were considering closing it, which would have cost us all our jobs. Gabby, being the snake she was, used Sue's struggles to frame me for sexual harassment. Here's how it went down. The simulator traders often came to us live traders for advice. I was mentoring for, including Sue. Trading's brutal, you lose money before you make it, and the stress is real. One rough evening, Sue broke down crying. I'd been there myself, so I tried to comfort her, awkwardly holding her hand and patting her back. I'm terrible at consoling. Gabby saw this and pounced. The next day, she offered Sue job security and cash to claim I harassed her. Sue agreed. What followed was a nightmare. I got a formal reprimand from corporate without being invited to the hearing. Gabby forgot to notify me. She pushed hard for my firing. My old boss saved me, but I lost a quarterly bonus and was forced to attend 3-hour harassment seminars daily, watching the same video until I signed a paper admitting guilt. Signing would have given Gabby ammo to ruin me, so I refused. For 7 months, I'd show up at 7 a.m., watch the video, refuse to sign, work until 11:20 p.m., and repeat. It was torture, and Gabby never let me forget it. She reassigned my ments, cut my trading limit from 1,000 contracts to 20, and started snooping in my desk during lunch, stealing my trading notes and giving them to Sue. I caught them once but let it slide to gather evidence. The office was struggling, only 11 of us were trading live, and profits were barely reaching corporate. I teamed up with 2 close permanent traders and we cut our trading volume by 50%, tanking the branch's numbers. 3 weeks later, corporate announced a visit from the head of operations, my old boss, and other execs. I confronted Gabby with evidence of her stealing my notes. Under pressure, she admitted in writing that she fabricated the harassment claim. Then I went for her personal life. A little digging revealed she was cheating on her husband with multiple guys who picked her up for lunches. I snuck into her office during one of these breaks, found her open Facebook, and saw explicit messages detailing her affairs and complaints about her husband. I forwarded everything to my email via her account and deleted the sent record. I waited for a Thursday when her husband and kids picked her up. That day, corporate was visiting, and I had all my evidence ready, from my hiring letter to dozens of denied promotion requests. I sat through the harassment video, waiting. After lunch, they called me in. Gabby launched into a rant about my disobedience and harassment. I pulled out Sue's written confession. Her smirk vanished. Sue was called in, confirmed everything, and was fired on the spot. I showed my trading analysis, proving Gabby stole my notes for Sue. My old boss checked Sue's trades against my records, busted. Sue was fired again, and I was promised my lost bonus, back pay, and a $50,000 settlement. Justice felt good. Then I saw Gabby's husband and kids walk in. I looked at her, smiled, and said, "Your husband's here." She panicked, excused herself, and went to him. My old boss said, "Go ahead." I hit send on the email with her affair messages. Her glass-walled office was in an open-plan space, so we all heard her husband lose it. He stormed out with the kids, she chased after him, yelling. When she saw us watching, her face was priceless. She knew her life was crumbling. An hour later, she was fired. My old boss stayed a month to train a replacement, a brilliant woman who'd been with the company longest. Sadly, the branch closed due to low profits, but all productive traders were relocated to London or India offices. I didn't go, I needed a break after the ordeal. I joined a friend's consulting firm but plan to return to trading someday. It's the only job that's challenging and rewarding enough. I still check Gabby's Facebook. She posts about being single because I'm too awesome. I almost feel bad, then I remember that 3-hour video, and I'm over it. Sue bounced around jobs before landing an analyst role. My old boss is still with the company, and we chat sometimes. What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's move to the next story. Music. Story 2, entitled Mom Parked on Our Construction Site. We blocked her car. This happened this morning, and it's too good not to share. I'm a foreman on a new house build. The site's tricky, on a 75-meter slope, accessible only by a path. We haul all materials up by hand, which is brutal. Our only saving grace? 2 parking spots at the path's base, reserved for the site, with no parking signs on the street. Problem is, there's an elementary school nearby, and parents constantly park in our spots like they own them. I'm reasonable. If we don't need the spots for deliveries or our truck, I let it slide. But if we need them, I politely ask people to move, and most do. Not today. Our lumber truck driver called, saying he'd arrive in 2 to 3 minutes with roofing materials, long, heavy boards we'd need to carry up the hill for an hour. I didn't want him idling on the road with hazards, so I went to clear the spots. There's this mom parked in our spot, engine running. I assumed she was waiting for her kid, so I politely said, "Hey, you're in a no parking zone. Our delivery truck's coming, and we need this spot." She scoffed, rolling her eyes. "I'm only here for a couple minutes. Your truck's not even here. Chill, dude." Before I could respond, the massive lumber truck rounded the corner. I waved to the driver, pointed at him, and looked at her. She'd rolled up her window, ignoring me. I flashed my politest smile and waved again. She cracked the window and snapped, "What?" The truck was now inches from her car. I calmly repeated, "You're illegally parked in a tow-away zone. Please move." Her genius response? "Can't you just unload around me?" God, it's not that hard. That's when I got an idea. I told the driver to park as close to her car as possible, boxing her in between the truck, our porta potty at one end of the reserved zone, and another parked car at the other. He grinned, got the plan, and executed it perfectly, trapping her in a two-space jail. We started unloading the boards, and I called the traffic police to report the situation, not to get her in trouble, just to cover us with the city. A friendly officer said she'd be there in 30 minutes. As we unloaded, the mom's kid showed up. She realized the truck was so close she couldn't open her driver's door. She climbed over the console, got out the passenger side, glaring at me and the driver, and put her kid in the back. Then it hit her, she couldn't drive out. She stormed over, yelling, "I've got stuff to do. Move your damn truck." The driver, smirking, said, "Ma'am, we had to unstrap the load to start unloading. Company policy says I can't move the truck with unsecured cargo." Sorry. I nearly lost it. She was fuming, screaming, "Screw your rules, I need to go." Right then, the traffic cop pulled up behind our truck. Before the officer could introduce herself, I lazily said, "What, you can't just drive around?" "It's not that hard," throwing her words back with my smuggest grin. She shrieked, "Screw you," and scrambled back to her car, climbing over the console again. The cop didn't even get a word in before the mom floored it in reverse, smashed into the porta potty, knocked it over, then shifted to drive and tried escaping via the sidewalk. She got stuck halfway on the curb, yelling profanities through the truck's engine noise. The officer calmly told her to get out. The mom's face when she realized she'd done this in front of a cop? Gold. They cuffed her right there on the curb she tried to drive over. She screamed at the cops, claiming we'd told her she could park and no one asked her to move. The officer shut her down, saying she was called because the mom refused to leave. While I gave my statement to a second cop, my crew finished unloading, and the driver left. The mom was arrested for endangering her kid, who was in the back seat, reckless driving, property damage, the porta potty, and driving on a suspended license. Her car was towed, her kid went with grandma, and she got a timeout in a cell. I didn't expect her to actually try driving out, but I bet she'll think twice before parking in a tow-away zone again if she ever gets her license back. What do you think? Was her punishment fair, or do you feel a bit sorry for her? I feel bad for her kid, though. Drop your thoughts in the comments, check out our last video, link here, and thanks for watching.